What is going on, everyone? How are you guys doing today? Hope you've had a great week. You already know what it is, man. This is Philly Take with RB, hosted by your boy RB. What is going on, everyone? How are you guys doing? Hope you're having a great week and getting ready to have a great weekend. If you're in here right now, be sure to click that like button, man. We have a lot to talk about today. I already see a couple people in here. Rick, what is going on? Tristan, what's up, man? BPY, my boy, what's going on? Barn 5, what is going on, bro? How are you guys doing? Man? We have a lot to talk about today. We got the Eagles, we got the Sixers, man. A lot going on this week. Nothing out of, the extraordinary because obviously sports are not here, but the Eagles, who are they going to sign to be their veteran running back, right? What kind of vets are we going to get to shore up this roster that has a lot of young loaded talent? And then we're going to talk about the Sixers as well. Brett Brown's interview today, a lot of interesting comments about Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, the team, the health, the roster, and if basketball is going to come back, we have a lot to talk about. What is going on, everybody? Rick, what's up? Kara, what is going on? Dwayne, what's going on, my boy? Man, we got so much to talk about today. I'm going to give it one more minute to let people get in here. And then we're going to get rolling, man. Probably spend, a good hour on the Eagles and then hour on the Sixers, give or take, one or the other. But what's going on? Bergang 114, what is going on, bro? Appreciate you. Go check him out as well. The rookies got their numbers. I saw that, Barm. They keep talking about Jalen Hurts number 2 in that midnight green and the Kelly green as well. I think they should bring those jerseys back. What do you guys think? I like those jerseys. Jock Talk, what is going on, bro? Did you hear about Ben throwing up? Yes, I did. We're going to get to it, the whole thing, man. The whole Brett Brown interview. A lot of interesting comments. We got the Eagles and the Sixers. If you're in here, click that like button. We're almost at 10 likes already. Appreciate everyone that's in here. We're going to go ahead and get started, all right? So the Philadelphia Eagles, right? The first thing I want to talk about, we've talked about this whole offseason. We're giving a lot of praise to the draft outside of the one pick. We're talking about these guys that we picked up in free agency so far that we traded for, but I don't think we're done. I do not think we are done. Howie Roseman is never satisfied. I think we're going to go out and sign a couple of key veterans that could be, essential pieces to this team's success in 2020. You can never have enough depth, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles. And we know that given all the injuries the past couple of years. So first off, I want to know from you guys, all right? We're going to have a lot of back and forth today. I want to hear you guys going crazy in the chat. What do you think the Eagles deserve so far? Howie Roseman, the front office, the whole organization, in terms of a grade so far in this offseason, what would you give the Philadelphia Eagles? Let me hear you in the chat. I want to see what you guys think, and then I'm going to give my opinion as well. Let's read some comments. What's up, RB? Augie, what is going on? How are you doing? By Sheer Randall, I made a YouTube channel. Hey, I'm going to go check that out, bro. I appreciate you. You've been in here supporting. Shout out to you. Tristan, you to go. I appreciate you, my boy. I appreciate you showing love as always. Can we talk some baseball in a little bit? We might throw in some baseball. I've been going back and watching that Bryce Harper interview. That's really getting me. It's really getting me. I love Bryce Harper. I wish baseball was on. Philly girl, hey, new sub here. Fly goes fly. What is going on? Welcome to the channel. We are streaming every single Friday, talking Eagles and Sixers and all Philly sports. Shout out to you for coming through to the channel. Appreciate you. I think we get Carlos Hyde and Jadeveon. Those are names that will come up multiple times tonight. All right, so let's get into some of the grades here. Philly girl, I would give them a B+. I like it. Barn 5, A. Tristan Tillman, an A or a B+. Rick Bennett, B. By Randall, B. Kara, I think I'm going to say A-. Didn't like when we picked Hurts, but we did need insurance. Okay. Another A or B+. I'm kind of in the range of you guys, all right? I would probably go right now before this off-season period that is about to occur, in which I think we will get people. I would go with a B+. I talked about it a couple videos back. I did a live stream with a Colts YouTuber, and I talked about the Eagles offseason. I think outside of that pick, which obviously has disguised, a lot of, pretty good upgrades, I think we've had a solid offseason. If you look at free agency, we go out and we get these defensive pieces that we need that will shore up the defense. First off, obviously the big one, big play Slay. He's going to be outstanding at corner. Like I've been saying, we can trust this guy. We can trust a corner. For once, we can just sit back and say Slay's going to handle their number one receiver. As long as Jim Schwartz uses him right, he can plug and play to wherever side of the field he needs to do. And he needs to do that in order for us to be successful. Then you got Javon Hargrave, who's going to shore up the D-line, right? We get Will Parks as safety who can contribute. Who knows what we're going to do with Jalen Mills? We have Jatavis Brown that we go out and sign. And all these other guys, I think, are going to contribute a lot for the Eagles. I think we low-key had a very, very good offseason so far in terms of the defense, and it's not being talked about as much as the offense, obviously, because there's more spotlight on that. Getting to the offense, in the draft, I mean, we got 4 wide receivers. We have guys that are going to compete. We upgraded. We got younger in a way that almost I've never seen, in a long time. Everyone was talking about a rebuild, right? Everyone was talking about a rebuild, but guess what? We rebuilt it in half of an offseason. We got younger and we got better just like that. It didn't even take any time. Look at the guys we have. Look at all the options we can throw out there on offense. I think there's going to be a lot of competition. These guys are going to push each other. And like I said, like I always say, the number one factor is health. If the Eagles are healthy, we have constructed a very good roster so far. And like we will be talking about in just a few minutes, I do not think we are done. Let's read a couple more of these comments. What do you think about the Eagles and Devonta Freeman? I think he would be a good option. I don't think he would be one of the best options, though, but we will be talking about the running back situation next. B, I think, is a fair ranking. Fair, very fair. What's going on, man? Missed some of the stream. Hopefully I didn't miss much. What's going on, Connor Murphy? We just started a few minutes ago, man. We got 20 people in here. 20 people. Hit that like button. We are just getting started. We have Eagles and Sixers, a whole bunch of fire content to talk about. I need a lot of energy in the chat tonight, boys. Jock Talk, I love the defensive pickups. Absolutely agree. I'm going to get a big boy jersey and a Kevon Wallace jersey. Absolutely agree. Kevon Wallace, to me, is a steal in the 4th round. I love what I'm seeing from the guy in terms of what I've seen in his abilities and also his personality. I think he can step in there, and if someone can replace what Malcolm Jenkins brought to this team, he looks like he can develop into that very strong pick. Burgang 114 offseason was good. We addressed most of the positions. Absolutely agree. And like I said, we are not done yet. We get a couple solid veterans in here, and let me tell you, this team is going to be pretty special. Burgang 114. The problem is that we have no linebacker. I mean, we did pick up some pieces in the draft. I do think that they are going to develop. Like you said, though, they're not developed yet. They are projects in the works. I'm really interested to see. That is kind of like the weakest link right now in terms of the linebacker position, that I want to see what we address with that. Philly Talk Podcast, shout out for the super chat, my boy. I appreciate you a lot. Defense going to be versatile in the speed on offense, even if they're not the best contested catchers. Rhaegar is, though. The speed is going to free Ertz, Goddard, and Sanders. I absolutely agree with that. People don't want to talk just because we don't have a number one wide receiver. Let's not neglect the fact that we have upgraded, man. When you throw D-Jax out there and you got Jalen Rhaegar, say Marquise Goodwin is healthy. Say a guy like John Hightower or Quez Watkins makes the roster, there's going to be so much speed. And then with what we can do in the backfield with Sanders, right, with Boston Scott, and then we have 2 of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL in Ertz and Goddard. I mean, there's a lot of special things we can do in terms of this roster. Shout out to you, bro, for the super chat. Go ahead and check his channel out. We're definitely going to be collabing again soon. I appreciate him. That's my dude. Joey Shake 72, shout out for the super chat. I can't wait for the competition this year. It's a breath of fresh air. Hope to link up soon. Hashtag Shake Squad. Hey, another excellent Philly YouTuber. These 2 guys are 2 of my biggest inspirations. Like, I'm not even lying about that. These are the guys I watched before I did this, and their content is solid. It's fire. Please, if you have not yet, go ahead and check out their channels. Hit that subscribe. Show them some love because they're on top of it every single day. They're always bringing the best content. Let me know in the chat if you want me to link up with these guys and do a stream. I'm down anytime, man. These guys are some of the best that there are. And I'm not even lying about that. You can go check it for yourself. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. But like the common theme is here, with this speed, the running backs, the wide receivers, Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, there's so much. We have so many different packages that we can do with this team. And Carson Wentz, I'm telling you, he stayed healthy for the 16 games last year. It's gone under the radar because he got hurt in the playoff game. It's gone under the radar. But let me tell you, I think Carson Wentz is going to stay healthy this year. And I think that this team is going to be escalated to a new level if the guys around him are healthy. I think this could be a top 10 defense, and this could definitely be a top 5, top 10 offense. I'm telling you, if the guys stay healthy. So they actually bring up a good point. I'm going to read a couple comments real quick before we get on to the next thing. This is some fire content, bro. Tristan, shout out to you. Appreciate you showing the love, man. Do we get Bradham back for cheap? I would hope so. He is actually someone that is on my radar right now. I enjoy Nigel Bradham. He's not a top tier linebacker, but he is far from the worst. He's a guy that can come in and bring that experience, especially being here already, winning a Super Bowl. And I think he's done a good job at controlling those guys before. I would definitely take a hard look at Nigel Bradham. And if we can get him for cheap, obviously that's why we cut him before. I would love Nigel Bradham back in green, man. Joey Shake 72, I'm always lurking around. That's my boy, man. He's always showing love. Philly Talk Podcast, what's going on? Born 5, imagine Miles Sanders' speed and LaShawn McCoy jukes. Man, you're getting me excited for this next topic that we're going to talk about. King Poe, what's up, RB? How you been? What I missed so far? So far, man, we're just talking about what we would grade the Eagles offense up to this point. Obviously, it's going to change over the next couple months, and we're going to get into these next couple segments, which I think could have the hugest impact on what the grade should be for the offseason, Collab needs to happen soon. Absolutely, Joey. That's my boy. We're definitely going to link up soon, man. I'm going to message you on Twitter or try to get your number or something. We'll definitely link up soon, man. Love your content as always. Carson Wentz roll out the pocket more this season. Fly Eagles TV, what's going on, bro? I think Carson Wentz will roll out a decent amount of times. I think he's finally gotten over that injury phase in terms of his ACL. I feel like it takes usually a year for guys to get comfortable, planting that leg in certain types of situations. Now, what I will tell you is if he is rolling out, which I don't mind, some people want to take that away completely, and I don't agree with that because Carson Wentz, that's kind of what makes him him. A couple years ago, we're seeing this guy get out of piles, which is it's crazy. It's like, how is he doing this? How is he bending over and coming out of a pile of 3 defensive linemen and offensive linemen? Like, it's crazy. But he does it, and he ends up making a special play. I don't want to take it away completely, but I want him to learn how to slide it and do it in the right situations. And also, you can't hold on to the ball that long. If you're going to get sacked for more than 5 yards, you got to throw it away, man. Just some little things here, but that's the biggest worries is the little things. And that makes me happy knowing that we have Carson Wentz here as the franchise quarterback. But anyway, moving into the next topic, which I want to talk about, you guys are bringing up, is the running back situation, right? We've talked over the last couple weeks now. Who are the Eagles going to go out and get as a veteran running back to address this position? We need that bruiser type role running back. We need a guy who's going to get you a couple yards on first down. We need to start better on second and third down. We can't keep going second and 10, third and 12. No. And when we're down in the red zone or when it's a 3rd and 2 and we really need those couple yards, we need that first to continue that drive. Who is it going to be? We talked about Leonard Fournette. We talked about Carlos Hyde. We talked about Shady McCoy yesterday. I want to know from you guys right now in the comments, right? Because I did a YouTube community post on this and it got about 800 votes. And I was just checking it before I actually have it here. 50% of the people voted Leonard Fournette, which surprised me. I don't know if you guys were just looking at the ability and the age and all, but when I look at this and I take the money and the future into the situation, I don't know if I would give Leonard Fournette 50%. I know he would be up there at the top for me. Carlos Hyde and Leonard Fournette would be at the top. And Shady McCoy would also be a great addition to this team. There's a lot of guys. There's guys that we didn't mention like Lamar Miller or Spencer Ware on a 1-year deal. But I want to know from you guys in the comments, who do we go out and get? Do we go with McCoy? Do we go with Carlos Hyde, Fournette? Do we stay in-house? This guy, Michael Warren, the undrafted free agent. Adrian Killins, another guy. Like, Who do we go with to be that bruiser type role? How many running backs are we going to keep on the roster? I'm aiming towards 4 at this point. Don't forget about Corey Clement. There's a lot of options, man. Let's read some of these comments. Jock Talk, Bird Gang, I want Killings. Oh, for kick returner, right? Augie says Carlos Hyde, easy, interesting. Tom Tam, I want Carlos Hyde, but I think the Eagles are going to go shady. Philly Girl, I'm biased, McCoy. Bird Gang 114, Carlos Hyde or trade Fournette. 4 to 5 running backs. BPY, what do you think about maybe trading for someone like Damian Williams from Kansas City? Fly Eagles TV, Devontae Freeman, Barn 5, Carlos Hyde. All right, so I mean, as you guys can see right here, there are a lot of different viewpoints on this, and I like this. I like this debating back and forth. If we go through each guy, right, Carlos Hyde has obviously done it the most recently. He just came off a 1,000-yard season. I think he's 29 years old, and he's had some low points in his career. He's had some high points in his career. Every time to me, it seems like this guy is down and out for the count. He comes back and has a strong season. I think he would be a good option. I know the Texans tried to extend him. They had the article saying that the Eagles were rumored for Carlos Hyde. I would not mind at all going and getting Carlos Hyde to be the bruiser for the team. He would probably be my number one option at this point when you take everything into consideration. Leonard Fournette, to me, is probably the most talented with the most upside, but there's a few things when you look at it, right? The money situation, I'm telling you, even if we trade for Fournette, we're going to have to give up probably a couple picks, maybe a player, who knows. Leonard Fournette is still young, and he is a tank. He is a beast, but he's going to want to get that payday, right? I feel like people who I've talked to about this over the past week don't acknowledge that to me. Like, he's going to want a contract. He's still young. He's going to enter his prime. And with his resume, I know it hasn't looked as pretty because of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, everyone seems to want out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But in my opinion, I think Leonard Fournette is going to want to get paid. And what happens if we bring him? And what happens if Miles Sanders wants to get paid? Like, we're not going to be able to hold 2 running backs, for 10, 15 million on the roster. It's not going to happen. So I think we have to take that into account. If we're looking for a 1-year deal, for sure, Leonard Fournette would be great. But for what we would have to give up for him, would that be worth it? Just a question to think about. And when we look at Shady McCoy, let me tell you, like I said yesterday, Shady McCoy would be a great addition to the Eagles roster. He would mentor guys like Miles Sanders and Boston Scott. He knows Philadelphia. He calls Philadelphia home. And I think they are one of his top options. I really do. But can McCoy stay healthy? Can he do it now? I don't think the Eagles are exactly looking for what McCoy wants to bring to the table. He acknowledged that he wants to contribute, but I'm sure McCoy doesn't want to handle 10 to 15 carries a game. I don't think his body can do that with the age he's at, with where he's at that tail end of his career, as we saw last year in Kansas City. That's why they turned the ball over to Damian Williams, and he took them where they needed to go. McCoy has everything that you need on a resume for a career. I mean, he's done everything now. He has that ring. So he wants to have a last chance to, contribute some snaps here and there, help the guys that are coming after him. And I'm sure he wants to win. I think Eagles would be a great destination for him, but it's all about, are they seeing things equal? Are they level-headed on this? Do the Eagles want McCoy and what he can contribute, or would they rather go with a guy like Carlos Hyde who can give 10 to 12 carries a game? We need that LeGarrette Blount type role. I'm telling you, it's so important with how the Eagles value that running back position. We're trying to shape this like we did in 2017. That's just my opinion on it. Let's see what you guys think. Jock Talk, let the young guys show what they got. So I'm guessing you're talking about Killins and Warren. I think one of them have a really good shot to make this roster. Bashir Randall, Freeman is small and can't block. I do agree that Devontae Freeman is up there on the free agent running back list, but like he said, Freeman is a little bit smaller. I think we really need a guy that's going to pound it up the middle and can be that guy. Barn 5, Carlos Hyde showed you should not doubt him. I completely agree. Carlos Hyde, it's like every time he seems to be at that point, he just comes back. And you just hear that name out of nowhere. It's like, okay, we got to pay attention to this guy. We got to pay attention. Augie, sign Marshawn Lynch as a joke. That would be pretty funny, even though he would never do it. Carapool, I'm holding out for Yannick RB. I do think Yannick's trade value continues to go down, and I think he's going to end up going for maybe less than a first-round pick, but we will talk about that in a little bit. Bergang 114, Alshon Jeffrey for Fournette. Interesting. You think the Jags would really do that? Philly Talk Podcast. Shady's going to come back when he's ready to retire to get that 10-day contract and go live him, but we can't. Hyde fits the best for the role we need to fill, and price Fournette costs too much. Absolutely. That is pretty much mirrors my exact thoughts on the whole situation. Carlos Hyde fits. He's not going to demand as much. We don't have to go out and trade a couple picks to go get him. And he'll be here. He'll contribute his 1 year, and he'll be off on his way. We don't have to go through the whole thing. And who knows about Fournette's personality? I mean, he's obviously handled things a lot better. As he's getting older, he's maturing. But you never know. You do never know. Philly Talk couldn't have said that better myself. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I've been meaning to make a Shady video. Haven't, though. Shady in his heyday. I mean, look, man, Shady is one of my favorite Eagles of all time. Growing up every single weekend, watching this guy go to work, and his personality, like I said, he embraces Philly. I'll tell you guys one thing, though. I said this yesterday. Seeing Shady McCoy and Deshaun Jackson out on the same field again, my heart would just melt. It would be like, wow. It would just blow my mind. Seeing those two guys out there for the Eagles, I'll never forgive Chip Kelly for what he did. Absolute one of my least favorite people of all time. I can't stand Chip Kelly. Don't ever bring up Chip Kelly on this channel. Jags need a wide receiver. I know they do, man. I know. Alshon's getting up there. It depends who would pay the money, in my opinion. Eagles are probably gonna have to eat a lot of that money anyway, so we will see what happens. Yannick for a third and Alshon. I don't think that'll be enough to get Yannick. They're still probably going to try to get a first rounder, but I don't think it'll happen. I think teams have lowered the bar. RB, who will have the first pick in the draft? This is too far to say from now, man, but there's still some teams that have not improved. I could see a team, I don't know, man, like the Bengals possibly. What if I really don't think they've surrounded Joe Burrow with enough talent there, but that's just one off the top of the head. There's a lot of people. Dude, I hate Chip Kelly. So glad he's gone. Me too. I absolutely hate Chip Kelly. But hey, maybe we had to go through that time to get where we were a few years later. That's how I'm going to continue to look at it. But anyway, as we go on to talk about how this Eagles team is going to get these veterans and shore up the roster, right? So we address the running back position. Another position that I'm looking forward to, or not really a position, but kind of a target, is some of the veterans that have played for the Philadelphia Eagles that could possibly come back. Someone talked about Nigel Bradham. I've been hearing about Jason Peters, Vinny Curry. What do you guys think about some of these guys returning on 1-year discount deals to the Eagles? I would love it, right? Look at those positions. I would be fine with JP coming back to be the mentor behind Andre Dillard, because Jason Peters could mentor Andre Dillard, and he could prepare him every single week. Like we saw last year, we saw a good amount of Andre Dillard. He looked a little bit raw, but having this whole offseason under his feet and having a guy like Jason Peters, he's obviously worked with the last couple of years, who he's come in for, I think JP would be great. Maybe an assistant offensive line coach as well as a player. I would view a role like that for Jason Peters. I think it would be great to bring him back. I don't see him going anywhere else. He even said it himself. He doesn't want to play anywhere else besides Philadelphia. In terms of Vinny Curry, another guy. We saw the same thing happen with him last year. I would love him to come back on a 1-year deal to help shore up the second unit on the defensive line. We have all these guys, right? We have Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Koch, Hargrave, Malik Jackson. We have a lot of depth, and I don't think the Eagles are going to go out and make a big splash for Jadeveon Clowney. Probably not at this point for Yannick Ngakoue. All these guys, Everson Griffin, I've heard about, but who knows, right? I could see Vinny Curry being a guy, they go out. He has the Philly blood to him. He understands Philly, and he could come back and play some snaps off the second unit. What do you guys think, man? Some sleepers to make the Eagles roster, absolutely agree. I think there's going to be some guys where we're like, wow, wow. I think Killins makes the team as a returner. So do I. I'm leaning towards Adrian Killins being the fourth running back and being a kick returner as well. If not Jalen Reagor, or he could be the punt returner and Reagor could be the kick returner, something like that. And just in my opinion, I think Killins, I think that breakaway speed is something you don't really see every day. And I could see him making this roster. I really could. I hope JP comes back. Absolutely agree. Bradham for sure. I'm fine with a 1-year deal, no guarantee money deal. That would be smart. That would actually be smart because you never know with these guys. JP moved to guard and mentor Andre Dillard. I couldn't see him moving to guard, even though that would be pretty funny. A big dude like Jason Peters trying to play the guard, but he would definitely be a great, guy to sit behind Dillard and just teach him the game more as he develops into our future left tackle. Chip Kelly was good because we traded his players for picks that got us Carson Wentz. I mean, good way to look at it. Good way to look at it. I like the optimism. I just can't stand him. I can't stand the dude. I hope we have no injuries this season. That is the number one thing. That is a quote that should be all around Philadelphia. Please, no injuries. It seems like all our teams seem to go through these injuries, and then what happens, man? We have all this talent, all these expectations, and they just go down the toilet, man, just because we are not at our peak potential, man. Peters coming back for 1 year would be a smart move. I absolutely agree. I think he's getting to that point in his career. I don't know if he's going to go out and get a good deal on the market. Like I said, I don't really think he wants to go anywhere else. I think he is bred into Philadelphia and he wants to be here. He does. All right. So as we talk about continuing to shore up this Eagles roster, like I said, I think we've had a decent offseason so far. We talked about some veterans that they could go out and pick up at these different positions. I want to know from you guys, what is the major position to address right now as we continue through free agency? What do you guys think is the next thing we have to do? Like, what is the one move that is just burning on top of the stove? Like, we have to address that right now. What is the one decision that needs to be made? Let me know, guys. Let me know. Then we're going to get into something real spicy, and I'm going to need your guys' input. I'm going to need you guys to go crazy, man. RB, what is the biggest thing you want to see happen with our offense to start 21? Look, man. Wait. What do you mean by that? Burgang 114 linebacker, Carapool linebacker. It looks like everyone is leaning towards the linebacker position. I probably have to agree. I think that is number one on my list. I think the Eagles need to figure out who is going to shore up that linebacker position because we need guys in the box that can tackle, right? We need guys that we can count on to make tackles in an open field. It's been a problem for years. It has been a problem. Like, the linebacker position continues to go undervalued, and it really gets me. It really gets me because there are guys like in a draft that we could have went out and got earlier on. We went later on in the draft. Those guys need to develop into the pieces that we are hoping for. Those guys need to develop into solid linebackers. I mean, we had, Nigel Bradham, who was pretty good. We had Jordan Hicks, who I thought was pretty good, but then the injuries took a toll on him. He goes to Arizona, right? And he's healthy. He's playing fine. We haven't had that dominant linebacker piece since Jeremiah Trotter. And I miss those days. I do, because there's just a sense of security when you have a solid linebacker there where it's just like you feel a lot more secure. You have that trust, I see you guys showing a lot of Jalen Hurts love in the chat. I mean, I respect it, man. I appreciate it. The linebackers are going to be 2 rookies and someone else. That I don't know about that. I think TJ Edwards and Nathan Gary are probably going to get a good shot, even though I'd probably go Nathan Gary. Jatavis Brown might get a few snaps. I know we signed him, but overall, like you said, I think these draft picks are going to be the guys that we put in here and try to develop, right? Davion Taylor, Sean Bradley, these guys have to come out and play with a chip on their shoulder if they want to make the roster. And they have to be very, very good if we want to be good, in the run defense. How do you think the offense will look to start 21? And the biggest thing we got to do this year that we didn't last year. Look, man, I just think overall, and I always talk about this, is that the Eagles need to not get in their own way. What I mean by that, whoever's calling the plays this year, we don't know. There's all these guys, right, that don't have, the necessary titles. But we need to find our identity, and we need to do it strong. And another thing is we have to execute in the first quarter. I'm tired of seeing guys come out in the first quarter, lackadaisical. We get to halftime and we have 3 points. We have 7 points. That can't happen. We have the talent. We have the ability to go deep in the first quarter. We got to stop playing so perseverative, right? All we do, I feel like we come out, right? We run the ball 3 times, 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt. And then we try to get into the passing game and we'll throw the ball 3 times in a row. And it's too predictable. It is too predictable. We need to find our identity. Let the running open up the passing, right? That's what I'm saying. We need this veteran bruiser running back can get us a couple on first. As we do that, as we get into these better third down situations, it opens it up. They can't, they have to keep us honest. We have all this speed on the outside. We need to start going deep. Carson Wentz, we got to give him these throws. We have to get him in that mode so when he needs to go deep, when he needs to hit that pass, he is able to. I think we have to start off clicking on all cylinders. We have to put ourselves in better positions, especially when we get later in games. That way the defense doesn't have to play so many freaking minutes a game. That way so they can be rested and, they don't have to come into a game a minute and a half into the game after 3 and out. That's just my opinion on it. Hey, RB, have an issue that I need to handle. Have to bounce. Good night. I don't know if I'll be able to jump back. All right, Rick, go ahead and handle your business, man. Appreciate you for tuning in as always. How do you think Rhaegar is going to play? I think Rhaegar is going to be asked to do a lot. However, unlike J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who we thought was going to be able to handle it, I think Rhaegar, he's going to have a lot on his plate, but I think he'll be able to handle it. I think we're going to learn from what we did last year and put Rhaegar in better positions right away. I think this guy's going to have a lot of catches. I do. And I think he's going to have to step up and be probably the number 1 or number 2 guy. And Carson Wentz and him are going to have to develop a lot of chemistry and get on the same page. But I think Rhaegar, his explosiveness, his elusiveness, his upfield speed is just crazy, man. And I could see him having a big breakout season. I think he's going to go for, at least 800 yards. That's what I think. I think he's going to be great for this team. Gary and Edwards and Taylor starting linebacker. I agree. I think those guys will probably get the nod. I think Sean Bradley's going to have a chance, though. I do. I like what I'm seeing from him. I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder. I think he'll be solid. Bashir Randall, Dillard is ready, but JP needs to come back for a backup. Absolutely agree. I think JP would be that great backup for everything we talked about. Plus, he won't have to take as big of a toll on his body. Candace Henry, I'm a Ravens fan. What is going on? Can't wait to see you guys in the season. It's going to be a great matchup. It definitely is. Let's see if he sees my question and answers. All right, what's the question? Oh, here we go. Stupid question. How come no flyers on your wall? Actually, the space, if I were to line these up, it would have been kind of small. But another reason is because I haven't really covered the Flyers here on the channel. I do watch Flyers games. I wouldn't say I'm as in-depth with the Flyers or with hockey. I used to watch it a lot more as a kid. The Flyers kind of just get me, though, because every year as I'm growing up, it's just like we're always in it. And then what happens? I get heartbroken. So I took some time off from the Flyers, but I've been back, especially this year. They were very, very exciting. I was watching a lot of Flyers games. They were fun. Jonathan Neiman, I want Shady to come back so badly. I would love Shady, man. He's a guy that will forever have a spot in my heart as a Philadelphia Eagle. And like Philly Talk podcast said, when he comes back, man, for that 10-day contract, if we don't sign him, at the end of his career, Shady McCoy is going to be enshrined in Philadelphia. Like, this dude Imagine if he would have stayed with the Eagles. Imagine if he never leaves, how much rushing yards he would have accumulated with the Eagles over the years. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Here we go. All right. This is, probably one of the last couple Eagles topics we're going to talk about because we have some special Sixers stuff to talk about, right? I want to talk about the top 5 quarterback debate because it's been coming up and especially came up a lot today. I don't know if you guys saw it. The guy, Kyle Brandt, the guy's done a couple of the Eagles rants before. He was talking about the top 5 quarterbacks. He said Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback and he would take him, over some of these other guys. And this is going back and forth for a long time now. Is Carson Wentz elite? Is he a top 5 quarterback? A lot of Eagles fans seem to think so, but a lot of people outside this city, outside this organization, seem to have Wentz down near 8, 9, 10. I want to know what you guys think. Is Carson Wentz a top 5 quarterback? I'm gonna give my little spiel on it, and we're gonna go back and forth. I need you guys coming crazy in the comments. We got 16 people in here right now, 16 likes. Be sure to hit that like button. If you are new, click that subscribe. We're streaming every single week. I want to know what you guys think, though. Is Carson Wentz a top 5 quarterback? Let me know because it's been going back and forth. '13 rushing champ. Yep. Shady McCoy. Man, what an accomplished running back. What a Philadelphia kind of player. Barn 5, Mahomes, Jackson, Breeze, Brady, and Wentz. So you got Wentz at number 5. I'm guessing that's the order. Kahan Patel, what's good, RB? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you tuning into the stream. Always showing the love, man. I'm awake. Are you? He's 5 or 6. I like it. Philly girl, I'm not a Wentz fan. I know he's good, but he's not all that. Are you a Philadelphia Eagles fan? I'm just wondering. Because if you're an Eagles fan, but you're not a Wentz fan, I definitely want to know why. Augie, Mahomes, Jackson, Wilson, Breeze, and then either Rodgers, Prescott, or Wentz. Okay. Kara says Mahomes, Wilson, Breeze, Wentz, then someone. Philly Talk Podcast. I was going to make a video about this. It's tough. I think he's right there, man. Look, I absolutely agree. Bird-Gang 114, Brady, Mahomes, Breeze, Wilson, and Carson. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give my top 5. And it's very hard to do this, okay? It is very, very hard because these guys have been put in different situations, right? We can say, okay, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world, which he is, which his talent is, but let's look at the weapons that he has. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, all these guys that he can just throw the ball down the field. He can close his eyes, just throw it down the field. Someone's going to catch up and catch it. I'm just saying. But Mahomes is obviously the best quarterback right now in the world. But it's hard when you get down to the 3, 4, 5 spot. In my opinion, I'm going to go Mahomes 1. I'm going to go Russell Wilson 2. I think Wilson has been neglected of a top receiver, but he just continues to do it. We saw it in his first couple years, him lead the Seahawks to the Super Bowl and should have won 2, but he has a ring. And he's continued to do it, even though they reconstructed that entire defense. Russell Wilson continues to be that guy. He's mobile, he can move around. He's learned how to throw a lot better because he used to just run a lot. And Russell Wilson has the best deep ball I've seen in the NFL. He does. So I would go Wilson 2. 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the hardest part. It really is. If it was up to me, I would go Drew Brees 3rd. And I understand the age factor, right? 41 years old. I'd like to look at as of right now and what you're going to bring to me in the future and what you've done for me lately. I think Drew Brees, even though he has gotten above that 40-year-old mark, he continues to be solid every single year. Now, I know he has weapons around him too, so it's hard. Like I said, it is hard. And with the system, Drew Brees isn't always asked to throw the ball 30, 40 yards down the field or move around a lot. He has Michael Thomas, a sure hands guy who's going to catch the ball. But I like what I've seen from Drew Brees, and I would probably put him number 3 just because of the continued success, even though he hasn't had the best games in the playoffs over the last couple years. When we get to number 4, look, guys, it's hard. For me, it's either Carson Wentz, Lamar Jackson, or Aaron Rodgers. Looking at what has happened lately, Aaron Rodgers, he got a new offensive coach last year. The Packers went 12-4, but I'm telling you, I think Aaron Rodgers looked a little shaky last year. It looked a little bit off to me. The last memory I have of him is in that NFC Championship, and they were going up against a great team, but they got spanked, man. Aaron Rodgers did not have his best games last year, and I'm sure he'll come out this year and play absolutely great. But like I said, looking for what you've done lately and what I believe will happen in the future. They didn't go out and get Aaron Rodgers, a top-tier receiver. They disrespected Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to push him down the list. Now you give me Carson Wentz and Lamar Jackson. Well, guess what? Lamar Jackson is a system quarterback, all right? He has done all the things he can, and he has led that team, and he's becoming a great quarterback. But I look at Carson Wentz's arm talent. I look at what Carson Wentz had last season and still what he was able to do. And I'm sorry, man. I got to go Carson Wentz above Lamar Jackson just in terms of a quarterback who I believe can lead the team. Now, if you took all the weapons off with Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he would be that same, accomplished guy right now. But don't get me wrong. Don't take this the wrong way. Lamar Jackson is going to be a great quarterback. He can throw the ball. He has so much talent. When you combine that with his running game, I think, man, that team is going to be hard to stop. But Carson Wentz, and this is where the weapons come in. He hasn't had that number one receiver. I try to stress this a lot in my videos. Alshon Jeffrey was, to me, in between a number one and a number two back in 2017. He wasn't a number one when you think of Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell, one of those type of guys. But he wasn't just your average number two, in my opinion. He was like in the middle. But Carson Wentz hasn't had that top guy. Like Deshaun Watson has had DeAndre Hopkins. All of these other guys have had a top receiver and all these top weapons that they can just rely on. But when Carson Wentz, when his weapons went down late in the season, down the stretch, he got even better. He got even better. All these narratives that Carson Wentz is not good just because he can't stay healthy are a bunch of crap. The guy is thrown for 80 touchdowns and 20 interceptions over the last 3 seasons. His completion percentage is in the 60s, in the mid-60s to 70s. He is a good quarterback, and I'm just talking about in terms of talent. I'm not talking about when you put everything else around him or what they have done so far. But I just think Carson Wentz is number 4, and I'll go with Lamar Jackson number 5 right now just because of what I saw last year, what he was able to do combined with his running abilities. And Aaron Rodgers right now sits at number 6 for me. Until he shows me this year, which I probably expect him to do, come back and beat Aaron Rodgers. We get stuck up on Aaron Rodgers because he makes those special plays that not a lot of quarterbacks can make. But Carson Wentz can make those same type of plays. That's just my opinion. But those would probably be my top 6. Like I said, it is subject to change. It's very easy to change, but it's a hard topic to talk about until you look at these guys all with the same weapons. I want to hear what you guys think, man. Candace Henry, Wentz top 5, no. Carapool, we didn't have a number 1. Absolutely agree. Bergang 114, Lamar Jackson is more of a running back. He really is. I mean, they wanted to convert this guy coming out of college, and I mean, his throwing ability has developed. He's going to be a great quarterback. He is. But you take away the weapons around him, all that speed, and what's going to happen? I think this year we're going to see a lot of development with Carson Wentz, and we're going to see what he can do if these guys will stay healthy. I don't think Jackson has the best arm. I don't either. I don't think he has that long, downfield ability, but he's going to make plays for you. He is. And Lamar Jackson, he has on his feet, it can just keep him floating at all times. Even if he's not having a good game in the air, guess what? He's going to run for 80 to 100 yards, and he's going to be fine. He's going to keep his team in the game, I think y'all sleeping on Lamar. He's young and has the potential to be like Vic. Oh, absolutely. And he's already shown me that he can be better than Michael Vick with what he's done. I'm not sleeping on him by any shot, but I just want to see a couple more years under his belt. I want to see him develop his arm a little bit more. And trust me, he's going to be up there. He's probably going to move up the list. Carapool, I don't know. They didn't give Rodgers many weapons. I agree with that. I do. It's hard to talk about Aaron Rodgers because with Mike McCarthy, he was asked to throw the ball, 40, 50 times a game. So it's kind of hard to look at the statistics, but in terms of the flashy ability, Rodgers is probably the best with Mahomes and maybe Carson Wentz as well. But Like I said, it's a good debate. It is. It's hard for me to jump on the Wentz wagon when I liked Foles from the jump. So, see, this is my problem with a lot of people. Like, I made a video about this. We need to be able to cherish Carson Wentz or cherish Nick Foles and still appreciate Carson Wentz. It's not a problem that we had both of these guys. It is not a problem. It is a blessing. We had Nick Foles who did his job. He was able to come in and be that guy and take us to the promised land. But Carson Wentz is entering his prime. He has had a good career so far. He just has to stay healthy. He just does. Last season, he stayed healthy and he got taken out by a cheap shot. It is okay to be, fans of both of these guys. It is okay. Titans lock down Lamar Jackson. Lamar won't be as good because people got tape how to stop him. Lamar Jackson equals Colin Kaepernick. I do think they have a lot of tape. Like you said, the Titans just stuffed him in his tracks. They did. They did not let him get moving at all, and they just applied that pressure. And when they were able to, he did look a little bit shaky. You're not lying about that. You're not. Candace Hem. Oh, I just see all these messages being deleted, but Lamar keeps choking in the playoffs. I don't think that's the fairest comment because the first year he didn't really have time to, build chemistry with his receivers, and he almost made a nice comeback at the end. But this last year, he's young. He's going to learn. He's going to develop. It happens with young guys in the playoffs. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I think he's a great quarterback, but he's going to have to deliver on a big stage. I think what we saw last year will help him going, towards the future. And, if you guys are tuning in right now, we're talking about the top 5 quarterback debate. 18 people in here right now. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're just reading comments, man. We're going back and forth debating on it. Rodgers got Devontae Adams. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's one that top tier receiver. I think Rodgers has definitely been neglected of weapons. If I was Rodgers, I would leave Green Bay. I would because the way they're disrespecting him right now is insane, man. Who is Eagles' best backup quarterback, Sudfeld or Hurts? Obviously Jalen Hurts. I don't think they even value Sudfeld at all at this point. They wouldn't have drafted a quarterback in the second round for insurance purposes. Guys, stop spamming. You will be timed out for spam if you don't comply. If you don't comply with that, you will be banned by us. Shout out to Augie speaking absolute facts. Guys, I'm trying to read the comments. We're trying to have some good debates here, man. Like I always say, it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, where you're from, what team you like. We all are respected here. We bring good debates and good topics, and we're just talking Philly sports, man. I'm not saying I don't appreciate Wentz. I'm just not as big a fan as much as the younger fans. That makes sense. I understand that. I do. I just think that when crunch time comes, when Carson Wentz is going to have to take over this team and lead us to where we want to get again. And I'm not saying you do, but some people just don't value him at all just because of what Nick Foles did. They have to bring the comparison back, and I don't like that. I'm not saying he did that. But if you watch some Eagles fans, it's like the fan base gets split, and that's why I feel like it's going to happen again with Jalen Hurts, and that's what really pisses me off about going forward. Hello there. What is going on? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? It's just one player carried the Titans, though, against the Ravens. That's true, but, they did stop Lamar in his tracks. I don't hate Lamar. Big upside, just could work on his arm. And you're right, man. He's going to work on his arm, and he has a lot of time to do so. The Ravens are going to be a good team. They really are. Who do you think is the Eagles' best draft pick of 2020? I would probably be deciding between Jalen Reagor and Kevon Wallace. I think in terms of where we got him and the value that he will bring to the team, I think Kevon Wallace, I think he was a steal in the 4th round, probably could have gone in the 2nd or 3rd, and I think Kevon Wallace is going to bring a lot more value than we expect, and I think he could have a potential chance at being a day 1 starter. I really do. But yeah, we've been talking about Eagles for 50 minutes now. We're probably going to talk about the Eagles for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to hop into Sixers because we have a lot of juicy content to talk about when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. So, we've talked about the offseason grades. We talked about the running backs, the wide receivers. We talked about linebackers. We talked about the defensive line, offensive line. Overall, I want to hear from you guys after we've talked about it, especially this quarterback, situation and all that. What do you guys think the ceiling is for the Philadelphia Eagles this season? I know it's hard, all right? We are in May. We don't know if the season's going to start in time, but what do you see for the Eagles this season? Are they a first-round playoff exit? Are they a second-round playoff exit? Are we going to the Super Bowl? Let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think right now before we go ahead and, transition over to the Sixers. Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. He just needs a bit more help on the offense. Like Mahomes, took him only 2 years to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and he has a lot of weapons there. John Harbaugh is great for Lamar Jackson. And just some of the pieces they picked up, like Duvernay in the draft, the Ravens are going to be scary. I'm telling you, that is one of the hardest matchups on the schedule this year. My favorite is Kevon. He's so great. I agree. I love him. Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. Thing is, I can't jump to conclusion on Wentz because of injuries on the Eagles roster. I feel like he could be a good quarterback if he's healthy. Absolutely agree. Like I said, we need everyone to stay healthy. That is our biggest factor. It's not any of the teams in the division. It's not the NFL. It's not our schedule. It is the health on this team. But let me know, guys, in the chat. I'm seeing some of these comments come in. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it. What is the Eagles' ceiling? How far will this team make it in 2020? If you were to give a long shot guess right now, if on this currently constructed roster, how much talent the Eagles have? How far are they going to make it? Second in the division. All right. I mean, I think it's going to be a dog race in the division. Eagles and Cowboys could come down to that Week 16 matchup. Like I said, it's going to be interesting in Jerry World, Week 16. I'm a Chiefs fan, but I got high hopes for the Eagles this year. Who they picked up in the draft will hopefully work this year. I appreciate that, and I respect that coming from a Chiefs fan. Like I said, the Eagles have gotten younger. They've rebuilt and gotten better at the same time. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Who replaces Kelsey in the future and all the experience he brings to the team? That's a good question. I know Kelsey said he's not going to do a surprise kind of retirement. I saw that earlier today. We'll probably address that in the draft next year, to be honest. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at this point. Super Bowl this year, maybe. Okay, a good shot if they stay healthy. That is what I agree with right there. If this team is healthy, if this roster is healthy, we can be explosive and don't sleep on the defensive side of the ball. We have this lockdown corner. It's going to help guys like Avonte Maddox, Sidney Jones, whoever's playing cornerback too. And with the guys we got in the slot now, right? We got Nickel Roby-Coleman, Cravon LeBlanc. We remember back in 2017, Patrick Robinson, the kind of role he played. I'm expecting one of those guys to fill those shoes. And with the defensive line, all the depth, if we can hold teams to 20 points or below, I mean, this team has a very good shot of winning a good amount of games. Yo, RB, how many corners do we keep and who will make the roster? I think we go, if we're looking at the outside corners, I think it's going to be Sidney Jones. I'm sorry, Darius Slay and then Sidney Jones as cornerback too. I think Sidney Jones will get a shot, but it's all going to come down to training camp. Who looks better? Because we've been hearing about Jones training, working hard with that trainer. I think Avonte Maddox is the more sure option, but if Sidney Jones, he has a higher upside, and if he lives up to that potential and he's significantly made that leap and gotten better, I think this is Sidney Jones' last shot to show the Eagles what he has. It's been like 4 years, 3-4 years. This is the time Sidney Jones needs to step up. He's going to get a shot. And at the slot, I think we go with Nickel Roby-Coleman, and I think Cravon will also contribute as well. So definitely some guys to keep your eye on. But like I said, Darius Slay is going to help these guys out so much, man. Eagles at least playoffs. I do think we are a playoff team. I do. Playoffs at the very least. I think both the Cowboys and the Eagles make the playoffs. Very likely situation. I could see it going one game either way for the division and the other team making the playoffs. What if these teams met for a third time in the playoffs? It would be absolutely insane. I would love it because Carson Wentz would show up on the big stage, and I would be there all for it. The rivalry this year is going to be crazy. In my opinion, the NFC has some good competition ever since Brady and Gronk are on the Buccaneers. Yeah, I think the Bucs are a playoff team. I don't think they're at the top of the top, though. I don't. I think it's going to take some time for Brady to adjust to a new system. I do. We're going to see some true colors this year in terms of Brady and Belichick. I actually don't think the Bucs do well. It may just be wishful thinking. I also think, like I said, the Bucs to me are probably like an 8, 9, 10 win team at the most. Who makes the wide receiver position? Thoughts on Marquise Goodwin and Alshon? I think Alshon is going to end up getting cut if JJ Arcega-Whiteside, as long as he shows that he is at least decent, adequate, ready to develop. I think they want to turn JJ into what Alshon was for this team. He's a second-round pick, a lot of upside, but he has to come out and do it. You know, he can't come out and stink up the joint like last season, only having 10 catches. It can't happen. We need the guy down in the red zone that's going to go up on those balls and catch, man. And I think that's what they want from JJ. As long as that happens, I think Alshon will be gone. I think Marquise Goodwin is a boom or bust. If he is healthy, I see him filling that Torrey Smith type of role that the Eagles had back in 2017. And with all this speed as a collective unit and with the guys out of the backfield, like I said, and if we play 2 tight end personnel with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, it's going to be crazy, man. There's so much we can do with this team. Our offensive line, no one talks about it. They're still one of the best in the league. They're still one of the best in the league. The guys that we have there, they shore it up every single week. And we have the potential to be a very, very good offense. I'm hoping Goodwin is as good as his hype. I agree. I think Goodwin, you know, having that year that he did in 2017, and then we only swapped 6-round picks for him. Obviously, the 49ers didn't see as much in him. But, you know, if he stays healthy, I mean, he can contribute for this team. He really, really can. The NFC East will be amazing next year. Everyone improved in some sort of way. I do agree with that. Even though I think it will ultimately be a 2-team race, I think Washington, like I said, they're just a couple years out. They've gotten better. They've improved. I think they'll be at least a 6-win team. Ron Rivera will have those boys doing okay. The Giants, you can't count them out always just because they have a guy like Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones will develop. I think they'll also be around 6 wins, you know? The Arizona game will be a huge trap game for both the Cowboys and Eagles. Absolutely agree. Even though I do think Arizona is going to take a leap, they are actually one of my sleeper playoff teams. I think Arizona could be strong this year. Do not sleep on them. I'm telling you, the type of dynamic, widespread offense they are building in Arizona is going to be special. I'm telling you. I think the Bucs are overrated. I absolutely agree with that. So we're going to get some final thoughts here in the last couple of minutes talking about the Eagles. Let me get your guys' boldest prediction. We always end a segment with this. Let me get your boldest prediction for the Eagles in 2020, whether it's a guy having an outburst of a season, whether it's a guy taking a leap, a guy not making the roster, a guy making the roster. Give me your boldest takes, and I will give you mine. Thoughts on the Seahawks? I think they'll be a decent team. I do. How do you think Zach Ertz will do this season? I think he's going to be productive. I think he's going to have another great year, just like he always does. I mean, people wanted to trade this guy. No. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, dynamic offense, so much you can do. A guy who's always going to catch the ball, a guy who's bigger than these speedy wide receivers who can go over the middle, get you 5 or 6 yards, catch the ball, and that's all we need. We're going to need that safety blanket down low, especially what I expect with Carson Wentz to do with these deep threat options. We need Zach Ertz on this team catching the ball a lot. Goodwin is going to be really good this year. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. If he is healthy, I'm expecting him to contribute. I'm telling you, Killins makes the roster. Yep, I love it, man. I think Killins is going to make the roster. I do. I don't want to see him go. And, you know, one of these other coaches, one of these top-tier coaches see something in him, pick him up, and he becomes one of the best kick returners ever, you know? We have to keep Killins. We do. Ravens are signing Alshon. I don't think that would happen. I think the Ravens already are set in stone with what they want to do. Carson Wentz wins NFL MVP. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. My bold take is also about Carson Wentz. I'm just going to read a couple more. Someone ranked Carson Wentz in like the 5th or 7th highest odds to win MVP. That would be absolutely insane. It really would. If everyone stays healthy, don't count it out. I'm telling you. Wentz gets hurt and Hurts does well after the injury. That would be pretty interesting to see how people would react to that. But like I said, I'll respect Hurts. He's an Eagles player. He's here. Hopefully we'll use him in a couple different packages, and I hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope Wentz stays healthy. But for my bold take, and this will end the Eagles segment for today, I think Carson Wentz will stay healthy the entire season. He will, shut all of these haters up, and I think he's going to go absolutely nuts. I think he's going to go for about 35 to 42 touchdowns in that range. I think he's going to stay healthy. All the weapons, all the utilities that we are giving this man to succeed, it is now. He's in his prime. We just drafted another quarterback. It's going to motivate him. I'm telling you, Carson Wentz is going to be on a mission. He has a daughter now. He wants to make everyone proud, and I think Carson Wentz is going to absolutely explode this season. And whether he's in the MVP race or not, I think Carson Wentz will lead this team and will gain the respect that he deserves. But yeah, we got 20 people in here right now, 25 likes. If you guys are in here, be sure to click that like button. It really helps me out. All you got to do is take a second, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are streaming every single Friday. I also want to take a second real quick. A lot of people have been hitting me up about a couple things, and I want to get your guys' input. One is a potential Eagles-Cowboys debate on this channel. I think it would be pretty fun. I think it would be crazy. And if I could find the right Cowboy fan that's not obnoxious and just terrible like some of them are to come on here and debate me, that would be pretty interesting. That's one idea. Another thing that I like is when I hit 2,000 subscribers, I've been talking about this, talked about it last week. We're going to do some kind of giveaway, some kind of special thing as well, where I bring some of you guys onto the channel to talk some Eagles football or some Sixers basketball or something like that. But it has to be my realest subscribers. It has to be the ones always showing love. So I'm going to bring some of you guys on here to talk. And in the next couple weeks as well, I'm going to collab with some of these Eagles YouTubers. Like I know Bird Gang's in the chat. He's been hitting me up. We're definitely going to collab. Philly Talk Podcast, my guy Joey Shakes, who was in here earlier. Show love to all these guys, man. We all support each other. We all help each other. And we're going to all collab soon. It's going to be some fire content. It really is. Hopefully sports comes back in the next couple months, and we're all going to go at it, man. And it's going to be something special. It really, really is. Guys, in this chat, we will not tolerate toxicity or spam. We'll time you out. Shout out to you. Let them know. Let them know. I'm one of the biggest Cowboys fans you'll ever talk to. I mean, I respect you as long as you're real and objective, you know? Can you please have me, please? Hey, Trishan, you'll definitely be on the show, man. You're always showing love. Appreciate you, my guy. Augie, I fit the Cowboys versus Eagles, and I'm not toxic. Hey, from what I know about you so far, I mean, you got a wrench. You are objective. You are a real one. So I will definitely keep you in mind, but it's going to be my realest people. Another thing, one more idea before we get into the Sixers. A lot of you guys have hit me up about a potential fantasy football subscriber league. I know Philly Mike's doing one as well. That would be an interesting idea. We're going to keep that in mind as well. A lot of cool things to come here on the channel. But anyway, guys, let's get into the Philadelphia 76ers. If you guys don't know, I'm a passionate Sixers fan, all right? I speak the truth and the truth only. Some people don't like what I say, but it doesn't matter because the real ones will try to at least understand what I am saying. Now, first thing we will talk about today, let me know, by the way, if you are a Sixers fan or whatever basketball team you enjoy, let me know in the comments as I'm introducing this here. So, Brett Brown, right? Brett Brown went and had an interview today. He was also on 97.5 The Fanatic Show with Anthony Gargano, Missinelli, all those boys, right? In his interview, he talked about a lot of special things about the basketball season returning, about Ben Simmons, about Joel Embiid, about a whole bunch of stuff. We heard from Elton Brand last week. This week was Brett Brown, and I have the comments and all this stuff here saved on my phone. So we're going to go through these one at a time, and I'm going to give my thoughts, and I want to hear, what you guys have to say. So they didn't really have this whole interview on like a stream link or anything, so I couldn't watch it, but I went back and watched a couple highlights clips. I followed it on Twitter, and I go to my boy John Clark because he gives some of the best accurate, reporting for Philadelphia sports. So the first thing that Brett Brown said that caught the eye of everyone, okay? He talks about Ben Simmons, right? So he had an interview. He said Ben Simmons. Now we know Ben Simmons got hurt, right? Brett Brown said it was from the practice after the All-Star break. I still believe it was during the All-Star game when he took that hit and fell down on his back, had a nerve impingement, was out. We didn't even see him again. Elton Brand said that, if he was to come back and if we were to resume the season, Ben Simmons would come back into action. But ever since that Milwaukee game after the All-Star break, right, he played 2 possessions and then he was gone. He was gone. Well, according to Brett Brown here, he says Ben Simmons was vomiting from pain after that game in which he hurt his back in Milwaukee on primetime. We got blown out, by the way. And he says they were just trying to get him on the plane to go home, but he was throwing up. He was vomiting. That's how much pain Ben Simmons was in. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But in terms of my opinion on this, like, what the heck, man? Like, what did Ben Simmons do? I know they said nerve impingement and all, but Ben Simmons is a tough guy, man. This dude plays 40 minutes a night. For him to have that kind of pain where he can't even sit up and he's throwing up crazy, that doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't. Ben Simmons had the ankle injury in his rookie year. He's been healthy since, and we need this guy to stay healthy. I will not go against my opinion that Ben Simmons will be one of the best players in the NBA one day. He needs to develop that jump shot, but before all of that, he has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy, and he was vomiting, trying to get back on the plane, trying to sit up. That kind of shakes me the wrong way. Let's see what you guys think. Keep up the awesome Eagles talk. Shout out to you, SJ94. Shout out to you, Trust the Process. Brett said he wanted to have Embiid play 38 minutes. That is coming up next, my guy. I'm a Sixers fan, seeing all this Sixers love. What is this NBA you're talking about? Philly Talk Podcast, man. We got to hop back on a little Sixers stream, especially if the season were to come back, man. We got something. I want this NBA playoff atmosphere to come back, man. I miss it. Don't really watch the NBA until playoffs. Interesting. I haven't talked Sixers in a minute. All Eagles. I know, man. Like, people just the Sixers have just gone under the radar. The whole NBA, I miss it, man. It's crazy just seeing a season get split into the middle like that. Wow, I feel bad for Ben Simmons. Look, I'm telling you, Ben Simmons needs to stay healthy. He needs to be that guy, for this team and for this roster and for this organization, him and Joel Embiid. And now we'll get to Joel Embiid as well, because those were the next comments that really sparked a lot of attention. So in terms of Joel Embiid, Brett Brown, and someone just said this, in the chat, he said he expects Joel Embiid to play 38 minutes a game if the season were to return in spite of getting ready for the playoffs. He expects Embiid to play 38 minutes. He also said that he expects Joel Embiid to be in the best light shape of his life. He's saying that Joel Embiid is going to be ready to rock. He's going to, lose all this weight. We saw the posts about him working out during quarantine. Obviously, he's been working hard. But those are some bold statements. And what I will say to that is that Joel Embiid has to be healthy. He can't keep eating these Chick-fil-A sandwiches. He can't keep going to town on all this great food we have here in Philadelphia. He has to keep his body in shape as we go into the future, as we go into these years. We know I expect Joel Embiid to not be as tenured as some of these other big men in the league just because of how big he is, how non-durable he really is. But Joel Embiid has to give the Sixers at least 5 to 6 strong more years. This is the window for the Sixers to win. I'm tired of people saying, and we'll get to this comment in a second. I'm tired of people saying that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons cannot win together. We need to see a fresh system. We need to see these guys coached the right way, and we need to see the right pieces around them that can shoot, that can move, that can dribble the ball, and that can be clutch, and that we can count on as fans of this Sixers team. I think Joel Embiid, honestly, I do. I think he is a top 2 big man in this league. I really, really do. In terms of players, he could be honestly looked at top 10, top 15 in this league. There are only a few people, I've religiously stated this, that can stop Joel Embiid inside. Only a few. Maybe Anthony Davis, right? Maybe Giannis, LeBron. But outside of that, Joel Embiid is a dominant presence in the paint. He just has to get a little bit smarter, a little more sharper with his ball skills and with his IQ. Because when he puts that ball on the floor, they're going to crash him. They are going to crash him. We need these guys that can shoot. We do. I think Joel Embiid needs to stay healthy, and I hope Brett is what he's talking about comes to fruition. I really do, because Joel Embiid, we need to count on this guy coming down the stretch of seasons. I think if the Sixers were to come back, it would be good because he's had all this time to rest. The last part of what we saw of the Sixers season was Joel and Al Horford, and they were finally learning to play together. But if the season were to come back, like what happens? It depends on the matchup, and I have a video coming out talking about the Sixers and the Celtics potential first round playoff matchup. But what I will say is like Joel Embiid needs to be that guy. I don't want to see him up at the perimeter shooting 7 threes a game. No, you have to be that guy. Let Ben Simmons do what he needs to. And I think these guys can win together. But it was interesting that Brett Brown said that, right? This brings me to my next point. Actually, we'll read some comments for a second before I get into that. I was at the Nets game after the All-Star break, and in the middle of the game, Ben left the bench. Yeah, I'm telling you, Joe, Ben Simmons was hurt, man. After that All-Star break, he definitely had some kind of pain, but knowing him, he wanted to play through it. And knowing how much he plays per night, I mean, look, Ben Simmons, they got to stay durable, man. What do you think of the Netflix series about the Chicago Bulls? Absolutely love it. Been staying up to date. Can't wait for the final 2 episodes this upcoming weekend. Augie says he can't keep eating them Philly cheesesteaks, but they are so tempting to eat. Why did you make me hungry? I apologize for it. I do. Everyone here, man, we love our cheesesteaks. We love our cheesesteaks. But come on, Joe. Lay off the cheesesteak. You got to have that light bulb going off in your head. You got to stay healthy for this team. Come on. Arturo Ramos, yo, can you do the commercial so I can go to the bathroom? I don't control the ads, but you can go ahead and take a bathroom break, man. Come right back. Joey Shake 72. I wouldn't be surprised if Ron Rivera turns the Redskins around. Defensive line will get after offensive weapons all over. Look, man, I completely agree. I think people are sleeping on the Redskins. I do think they will be at least a 6 or 7 win team. I just think they're a couple years out. But the wideouts they have, the way their defense is upgraded, and with that coaching staff, I do expect the Redskins to take another jump. They just need to figure out that quarterback situation. If Ben Simmons gets hurt, I don't know how the Sixers will do. I completely agree. So the next comment I want to talk about that was on 97.5, The Fanatic, and this really pissed me off, okay? It really did. Brett Brown said, you look at LeBron, MJ, KD. They won their first chip at the age of 28. Ben is 23. Joel is 26. That is not an excuse, but this stuff at times takes time. Now, you guys can let me know what you think of that down below. I'm tired of hearing this excuse. I am very tired of hearing this excuse. I'm tired of hearing people say that you can't win with players who are under 27, 28 years old. No, it is not true. You can win with younger guys that are stars in this league. Even if it hasn't been done in a while, why can't we be the ones to reverse history? Why can't we be the first? You think about last season, if the Sixers win that game 7 against the Toronto Raptors, If we win that game, if a couple things go differently and we win that game, we move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We play Milwaukee. I think we have a good shot of beating them, and we go to the finals and we play a banged up Warriors team. We could absolutely win that series. You have a closer, a clutch guy like Jimmy Butler. You have shooting like JJ Redick. You can absolutely win with guys like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to sit back and say, because these guys aren't 28 years old yet, let's just sit back and wait 5 years until Ben Simmons is 28 and then we'll get back to you? No, that is not what we are supposed to do. We have a chance to take advantage of something that not a lot of teams have the chance to come by. We have a chance to take two young stars, surround them with the correct pieces, and go and win a championship before they even enter their prime. I'm tired of hearing this excuse that we need to wait until these guys are in their prime. It's just not right. It's not. What do you think the Sixers do with Al Horford? I think we're going to end up trading him. We'll actually get to that in a second. There's a good amount of moves will need to be made this offseason in order for the Sixers to contend. But good question. I hate the excuse you can't win with young people. I agree, Augie. It's absolutely, utterly ridiculous that you can't win with young stars. Like, why do we even play then? Why? Like, you can surround these guys with veteran pieces that you can plug in as long as you have an adequate amount of shooting. You can win in this league and the right system to run it through. That's really what gets me annoyed. It's really what gets me annoyed. Brett needs to man up and take charge. Absolutely agree, Dwayne Lee. Look, Brett Brown has to be the guy. Put your foot down, set an identity, get these guys running a correct offense. You can't have nights where Joel Embiid comes out and he's lazy. You can't have nights where Ben Simmons comes out and looks like he doesn't want to play the game. Part of it falls with Elton Brand. Part of it falls with Brett Brown, and part of it falls with the players. Now, in my opinion, the players do what they can based on the situations they are put in. I don't think they get one of the biggest pieces of blame of the pie. I think most of that goes with Brett Brown and Elton Brand. In terms of Elton Brand, you let Jimmy Butler go. We heard about all this stuff about you wanting to control him, right? If we wanted to keep Jimmy Butler, at least offer him what we could have done that, okay? He might not have stayed, but we had a chance of at least offering him. I don't really think we did that. We kind of let him go on his way. We took Tobias and we overpaid for him. And then we went out and paid too much money to Al Horford, okay? But there are flaws, right? Like, you can't let JJ Redick just walk like that. JJ Redick brought shooting, consistent shooting, and leadership and veteran experience that you just don't find. JJ Redick has made the playoffs every year of his career. You don't let JJ Redick walk for nothing like that. Like, you got to at least keep in mind what this team was going to develop into. Fine, if you want to take another big man and you want to format this and try to make a new landscape of the NBA as we go away from these 3-star teams, and you want to, surround yourselves with a defensive identity, I understand that. That's what the Sixers are always predicated on. But you didn't put the right piece in to solve the puzzle. Brett Brown will not do that. We have seen it took him 56 games just to get Al Horford onto the bench. 56, whatever it was, games, just to realize that, even though we paid Al Horford starter money, maybe he would be more valuable off the bench, right? Maybe we should try Joe at as our starter and bring Al Horford in when Joel is off the court for the most part. Like, it should not take that long to realize that. And when you have other guys, I understand guys went down, right? But Tobias Harris as well. Some nights I see Tobias just take charge and he just goes off and says, this is my night. This is my ball. He's going to go up for 25, 30 points. But some nights Tobias sits in the corner. Tobias sits in the corner and waits for a shot, and he's not consistent enough to be the shooter that the Sixers need. It really is not. I think the Sixers made a huge mistake letting JJ Redick go. We need that shooter. Furkan Korkmaz, he stepped up this year, right? We expected the bench. We expected the Sixers bench to be okay. They've actually played a little bit better than what we thought, but at times they are inconsistent. Furkan Korkmaz started off great, but there's stretches where you're like, why is Korkmaz still playing? Matisse Thybulle started off great, but then there's times, right? Like after the injury, he comes back and he can't hit a three-pointer. What I'm saying is we need depth and we need shooters. If you go to the playoffs and you don't know who your main shooters are going to be, you are toast. You are toast from the beginning. The problem is that we tried to make Al Horford into a stretch 3 or a stretch 4. Like, remember a couple years back when it was Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and then you had Robert Covington and Dario Saric out wide? Ben Simmons would look up. Covington wasn't by any means the most consistent shooter, but guess what? He could knock down a 3. You got Al Horford sitting in the corner ready to snipe a three-pointer. Like, no, that you can't rely on Al Horford to be your second best shooter. Who's going to be your best shooter? Tobias? No. Josh Richardson? No. I think that is the problem. Even when we go out and get pieces like Alec Burks, Brett doesn't play him the right way. We need a new identity. Whether it's going to come from college, whether it's going to be an experienced NBA coach already like Mark Jackson or Ty Lue or Kenny Atkinson, all these guys, or whether we go with a fresh mind from college, I don't know. But we need someone that has that aggressive personality that's going to get it out of the guys. Like, you remember how Larry Brown used to be? We need a guy like that who's not going to put up with any crap. Joel, you're not playing well. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to make adjustments in game. I'm going to create an identity on this team and this offense where we know what is expected of us. That is just my opinion. Let's waste their contract so they can be good. Come on. Absolutely agree. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, just like the narrative of coaches don't do anything in the NBA. Like, why have a coach then? Why? These guys need guys to keep them in check. Obviously, it's their talent that goes out and competes, but they need guys to keep them in check. Cowboy X Factor, what's going on, bro? Says, hey there, you're on your way to 2K, so congrats, and I hope you get there. Appreciate you, bro. All your continued support from the beginning. Shout out to you, bro. Barn 5, what do you think of the draft class this year, NBA? I think it's going to be very special. It's going to be an interesting draft because we have not seen all these, individualized workouts. We've not seen March Madness where careers are pretty much created from the jump. I think we're going to have a lot of limited stuff to go off of, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys are valued in the draft, but the Sixers are going to need to hit. I really want them to decide, if the NBA is going to be canceled or brought back or when or how this whole thing is going to go. I know a couple teams are opening practice facilities. I think we could see a return, but it would probably be later. They're talking about a 3-week training camp. Who knows, right? Who knows? But once they make a decision, I have a whole bunch of draft videos to pump out, and I'm excited to talk about who the Sixers are going to be interested in drafting. I do. I think it's going to be an interesting draft. If a person's mental health deteriorates, then they might not be the same person. You can't have this on a team. I agree. Burgang 114, I got to go. Great live. Appreciate you, bro. We're definitely going to collab soon. Shout out to you. Brett does not have the players' respect. I agree. There's no tone from these players. Like, you hear these other guys come out and talk about their coach. You hear them talk about their coach like, I trust in my system. I trust in my coach. They don't do that about Brett Brown. He is just a puppet of this team. And I understand he took a lot of hard hits over the years when the Sixers were not doing good. He did. But when we are good now, when we acquire these pieces, look, man, either you perform or you got to go. I think if we had a different system last year, we talked about the game 7 a couple days ago, a couple key decisions down in that game in the fourth quarter could have changed the whole landscape. It could have changed what the Sixers outcome was. And people just look at the results, but they don't look at what could have been if a couple different things have been changed. I think it's time for a new system. You're right. What are your thoughts on Joel Embiid's commitment to the team on and off the zone? I think he is committed to the city and this team and the game. But like I said, whether it's his diet, his routine, whether it is, the way Joel handles himself and approaches like, social media and all that, some things he clowns around a lot. And I enjoy Joel being himself, his personality. I enjoy him having that, that identity that not a lot have. I enjoy Joel Embiid being himself. But some things like the whole thing earlier in the year with the villain and all that and clowning around. Sometimes you got to stop, man. When we're on a bad losing streak, you have to be serious. You have to man up. And I think the right person, the right mentor, coach, or whatever, could get it out of Joel Embiid every single night. I really do. His skills are second to none when it comes to centers. I'm telling you, him and Anthony Davis can take this league by storm. I don't care what they say about how the big men and how it's developing over time. Joel Embiid can dominate anyone on any given night. He just has to do it. He has to come out and be ready. He has to take care of his body. I'm here on behalf of We Are the Dallas Cowboys. Screw you. Your Cowboys suck, all right? Your Cowboys suck. It's going to be a great rivalry this year. Do you think some teams in the NFL or the NBA will relocate because of the Big C? I do. If the season comes back, I think they're going to pick destined locations to play at. Another thing they talked about is no fans. It's going to be so weird if they do. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about no fans. It's like, what are we going to hear? These guys talking crap to each other on television. Like coaches are going to be in suits and you're going to see empty seats behind them. Like it's just weird, man. It's just kind of weird to me. It's just a little bit weird. If it were to happen, I mean, I enjoy sports. I enjoy seeing guys compete, but would it be the same? Would the Sixers still be 29-2 at the Wells Fargo Center? There are a lot of factors that go into it. I think it'll be weird, but like you said, I think teams will have to relocate to specified locations, So we got a couple more things to talk about the Sixers. One of them is about the offseason acquisitions. Like I said a couple minutes ago, I think the Sixers are going to have to make a couple key moves to shape their roster and build this identity that we need to continue to compete and win a championship. We talked about Devin Booker. We talked about Chris Paul, Buddy Hield, CJ McCollum. What is the move that the Sixers need to make? I personally think Al Horford will probably be gone, and Tobias Harris, if Elton Brand is risky enough, if he is risky enough, I could see him trying to get rid of both. I don't know, but one of the two, Al or Tobias, will be gone. It'll probably be Al Horford, right? I don't think we would be able to move Tobias's contract that easily. He's getting paid so much money. He's being overpaid because he was scared. We were scared of losing a guy. When we lost Jimmy, we didn't want to lose him and Tobias. So that's why I think we overpaid. But we need to go out somehow, some way. We need to trade for one of these combo guards that can put the ball on the floor, that can knock it down from 3-point range consistently. We need that guy. And if we don't want to do that, we need to have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They need to get their touches, but we need to come on here and we need to acquire at least a couple guards that can knock down the ball. There are look around the league. Look how teams format their rosters. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks. They have Giannis, but guess what? They have all these shooters on the wing that are going to knock down shots when they are called upon to do so. We can't have Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Al Horford all clogging the paint because they can just put more pressure on our shooters, and then things will not go well. When you get to the playoffs, you need guys to be consistent. And like I said, with the game on the line, who is going to shoot the big shot? Who? Tobias Harris? I'm sorry, I just can't count on him to be that guy. I can't count on Tobias Harris to be that main man down late in the game. Al Horford, he like I said, we try to turn him into a stretch big. It's not working. He needs to go because we've paid him too much and he's not going to be paid that much to be on the bench. I think the draft will be key. I think we need to target a couple shooters, a guy who can take the ball away a little bit from Ben Simmons, let him move off the ball, cut to the basket, do what he needs to do. Hopefully, if Ben Simmons continues to shoot, the jump shot, he can get better, and that will significantly help the Philadelphia 76ers. And we just need an identity, I'm telling you. whatever we have, whether it's the starters, whether it's the bench, we need guys that are going to knock down the ball, and we need guys to let Ben Simmons do what he does. One-on-one, isolate the floor, take it to the rack, and if Ben Simmons works on his jump shot, he's going to be deadly, man. Like, they can't keep him honest at the same time and also be able to keep their feet when he's blowing by them. They can't. Joel Embiid, they can double team him all they want. If we have a shooter waiting on the perimeter and Joel Embiid kicks it out, guess what? Schmack every single time. And I'm telling you, it all comes down to what we do at the coach position. I hope this doesn't save Brett Brown's job because we need that new identity. Some people don't think it'll have an impact at all, but Sixers need that guy to put his foot down. We really, really need that. Our main focus should be to surround Ben and Joel with shooters. With Joel dominating the paint, as soon as he gets double teamed, he needs that shooter to kick it out and drain the three. Absolutely agree. Pretty much what I was just saying. Like, even before when we had Joel at the high post, JJ Redick would run around, catch it, and we would somehow get him open. He would always knock down a three. When we went into a playoff game, I would expect JJ Redick to knock down at least a few threes. I don't know who we have on a roster who I can say, yeah, I know that guy's going to do that. And we don't have that finisher like Jimmy Butler, who we could say in the last minute of a game, here's the ball. Go ahead, take the ball, and go ahead and do what you got to do. You know, we don't have that. Question, if I can get on here, how will I know? I'll give you my number. Hey, go check out my social medias in the description and just DM me. But the last thing I really want to talk about in terms of the Sixers, right, is constructing a roster that can win not just, for now, but for the future as well. I'm telling you, do you guys think, let me know, do you think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid can play together and win a championship together? Please let me know, because I do. I do think Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can play together and win an NBA championship if they have the right pieces, if they have the right system. And I think when you get guys like this, it's not every day you get these type of pieces together on the same roster and competing. And look, man, if Ben Simmons is shooting the ball, if Joel Embiid is being dominant every single night, there are not guys who can stop that, especially when they can kick it out and get, very good production from their shooters. And if Ben Simmons has a CJ McCollum or a Buddy Hield next to him who can knock it down and put it on the floor, man, this team can be deadly. We can go the distance. Look at the Eastern Conference. No one can really match up that well with both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid at their peaks, in my opinion. Sixers need to solve the double team issue. They need to get points somehow. I agree. And I think that comes with adding more shooters and parting with Al Horford. Like, we need guys who are going to knock it down. We can't rely on Al Horford just sitting on the perimeter and just shooting the three ball, How long is the stream? We're probably going to go for about 5-10 more minutes, then we'll get out of here. I know there's 10 people in here still. Appreciate you guys for staying throughout the stream. Click a like button if you haven't already. I personally think Buddy would be the way to go. I do too. Looking at the contract situation, I think we would be able to acquire Buddy, whether it would be for a couple picks, whether it be a straight player swap. I think the Kings would be interested in a guy like Al Horford, especially with the young pieces they have, especially, like De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley. I think Al Horford would be a good complement there to go ahead and teach those guys, and he would do really good he would benefit from that type of system, and it just doesn't fit here. I think Buddy Hield would be great for the Sixers. Like I say, he's learning how to put the ball on the floor. He's getting stronger. He's that guy, and he's only getting better. We are seeing that potential that Buddy Hield is living up to. I think he could be knocked down for the Sixers, and he can handle himself on defense as well. Let's talk Eagles more. We will talk Eagles in a few minutes. We'll wrap it up with the Eagles. I like Buddy more. Me too. Much love, RB. Shout out to you, Augie. Shout out to all you guys in here, like I said. But yeah, in terms of Brett Brown, in terms of Ben Simmons, in terms of Joel Embiid, if the season comes back, I kind of want it to come back just so I can see. I want there to be that moment And this doesn't come from a hate point of view or nothing like that. But I want to see if the Sixers would be able to make it past the second round. At this point, I really don't believe that we would be able to do that. I don't. And I think, if we go up against Miami, if we go up against Toronto, Boston Celtics, we're going to have a tough time with any of these matchups just because these coaches have seen what other coaches have done to Ben Simmons in the playoffs, put him in the half court, stuff him. And if you take him out of the game, especially now, like we don't have that solidified shooter, I don't think we would be able to go far in the playoffs. I hope it just doesn't end here and Elton Brand says, okay, the last couple games, Brett Brown coached good games. So, maybe we'll retain him and see how he does. No, I do not want that. I don't. But for the Sixers, we will see what happens. Like I said, guys, I got a lot of good draft videos coming, a lot of good Sixers content. That's pretty much why I started this channel. I know I have a good amount of Sixers people. I know they've probably been off YouTube for a while because of this whole thing. But we're starting to build some with the Sixers as well as the Eagles. So when we hear about these decisions, I will definitely do a lot more content with these Sixers and talk about the draft. It'll be fun covering the whole draft with you guys. Might live stream. We'll see. But I think we'll transition back into the Eagles now just to wrap it up. So, we addressed a lot of stuff. We did. What I want to know from you guys, a question that I've been wondering, and this has come up a little bit on some of the other sports channels as well. What do you guys think about Doug Peterson as a head coach, right? Given his tenure so far with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? We know he has the Super Bowl, but at times we see him get a little bit lost without these guys like Frank Reich and John DeFilippo. What do you guys think about the Philadelphia Eagles coaching situation? All these guys we brought in, even on defense as well, like Marquand Manuel. Do you think they will take a significant step up for the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think that Doug Peterson will be able to handle all of this year on his own? Let me know what you guys think. Is the Eagles roster better or worse in 2020? I think right now, I would probably say we're better just because of, getting younger, getting quicker, more agile, getting guys who are healthy. I hope that we stay healthy, Doug P is a pretty good coach. Arturo, just a comment about the Sixers says, you say we don't have a closer. That's why the Sixers paid Harris to be our closer. Yeah, but he is not that guy. He will not take over and be that closer. And we've seen him, man. We've seen it. Sometimes he's not aggressive enough. He's not that guy. And I think we overpaid him because we were scared of losing him as well as Jimmy Butler. And the fans of Philly would not have liked that. Not sure about the quarterback factory. However, in Doug, we trust. I absolutely agree. In terms of the quarterback factory, I think it's a bunch of crap. Like I said, this whole quarterback stirring up the controversy, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm going to be pissed about it. And you're going to have those Eagles fans who are obnoxious saying, oh, Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. He's our future. Carson Wentz needs to be traded. All that. It's going to piss me off, man. It is. But hopefully Doug will handle this the right way, and the Eagles and Howie in the front office will as well. I think Doug is a good coach, is a great head coach. It will go up. I trust Doug to get it done. I do too. I think Doug Peterson is a very good head coach. I think he can rally the troops. And I think as long as he continues to learn and adjust to his players and what kind of situations his players benefit from the most, I think he's going to continue to be a great coach. Obviously, the Super Bowl year, we really couldn't do anything wrong. I love that aggressive mentality that he has, going forward on a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2. I like living or dying by those type of plays. And I love that Doug's that type of coach. I'm going to head out. Great content. Keep on grinding. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate all the love. You have a good night, my guy. Korkmaz is that shooter and Harris is our closer. Nah. Korkmaz is a good shooter, but he's not consistent enough. And Harris is not consistent enough either. Harris can shoot. He can be our guy, in the second quarter, but down in the stretch, I don't see Harris being able to create that separation and hitting that big shot like Jimmy Butler did. How do you think Sidney Jones will do this year? I think he's going to be trained. I know he's been being trained. I think he's going to be coached up well, and I think this is his last chance, and he's going to play like it is his last chance. I think he will do good, And I think we'll see a good improvement from Sydney. I think he has a chance to start at cornerback too. And if he does, like I said, Darius Slay being able to lock up a wide receiver on the other side and having Sidney Jones go against the second receiver on the team, it's going to benefit the Eagles a lot. I think he's going to have a good year. Sorry I had to go. I'm back now. BPY, we're just closing up for the last 5 minutes or so here. What I want to know from you guys now is your overall most fire takes. I know we end the stream like this all the time. There's still 11 people in here. If you haven't, click that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Look, guys, give me your most fire sports takes. This is how we always end off the stream. In whatever sport, I guess, Eagles, Sixers, whatever. Give me your most fire takes. It can even be football in general for the season. It can be NBA, anything. Let me hear what you guys got to say. Give me something crazy, man. Let me know. If you want anyone else in free agency, who do you think we should get? Right now, in terms of running backs, I think we need a veteran running back bruiser free agent. I would say Carlos Hyde would be my number one choice, and maybe a Shady McCoy or a Leonard Fournette if we were to trade for him. I do think, and people have counted this out as well, that we go out and sign a veteran wide receiver, like a Demaryius Thomas or someone like that can come in and fill a void and just be another experienced wide receiver for the team. People have not thought about that as well. I think it could be a possibility. But I would hope for at least some depth for the linebacker position. That's what I would hope for personally. What did you think about the Aaron Rodgers press conference? I did not get to watch that, but knowing Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure he had some interesting answers, and I'm sure he'll be, mature about the whole situation, but I still think he got disrespected. Wentz MVP this year, I love it. I love it. I think Wentz will be in the discussion. I think, like I said, Wentz is going to explode 35, 40 touchdowns as long as he and everyone else is healthy. Carson Wentz has the weapons. He has the ability to go ahead and do it. He's in the right system. Now he just has to go out and do it. Boston Scott will emerge as a good running back. I think he's going to take a big step up. I do. I watch him and I see Darren Sproles. I think Boston Scott is going to be very effective out of the backfield, whether it's in screens or whatever. Him and Miles Sanders, he's going to give Miles Sanders a good break, on some second downs. And I think Boston Scott is going to be very good for this team. What if we line both of them out, Carson Wentz wins MVP and we win the Super Bowl championship. I love it, man. I love the confidence. Tua to be MVP. That's interesting. I think Tua will be okay. I think he'll have a good year. I'm actually a little bit lower on Tua than other people are just because I think he's a little bit brittle. He's a little bit smaller. If he wasn't on the Miami Dolphins, I would take that into consideration. Even though the Dolphins have improved, they could be a much more improved team. But I don't know about the Miami Dolphins. Would I take Jason Peters back? Yes, I absolutely would. We did talk about that, and I think that he would be a great mentor sitting behind Andre Dillard, continuing to teach him about the game. And I think he could really, sharpen up what we've seen from Andre Dillard thus far. And, if he were to get hurt, maybe JP could come in and play some snaps. Obviously, wouldn't be as big of a hit to his body like it has been in previous years. But I would love Jason Peters back. Trade Maddox, Mills, LeBlanc for Patrick Peterson and cash, $7 million from Arizona. While I would love Patrick Peterson, I don't think that would be enough to go ahead and get him. I mean, I would love Patrick Peterson. I think he's also a top corner, but now we got our guy. We got big play Slay, who I'm expecting to come in here and lock down receivers almost every freaking weekend. Who replaces Malcolm Jenkins' leadership qualities next season? Who's going to step up when it counts to lead by example on a pitch? I think it could be Kayvon Wallace. I do. I think what I've seen from him, his sharpness, his personality, the ways he has expressed himself in terms of Philadelphia so far, I think Kayvon Wallace could step right in and be a day one starter. And I think he was a steal in the fourth round. And it definitely hurts losing Malcolm. It's hard to get over that. But if there's a guy who could do it, who I could see a little resemblance, I think it could be Kayvon Wallace. Who do you think will step up when the time comes? What do you mean by that? I mean, I think everyone's going to step up. I think Carson Wentz is going to step up in the big situations. I think, the running backs, I think Miles Sanders is going to take a leap. I think wide receivers, I don't think Djax is done or washed like some people think he is. I think all these guys are going to go off and have a great year. If Dallas Goedert is utilized right, imagine what we could do at the tight end position with Zach Ertz, with Dallas Goedert. It would be crazy. And the defense now, come on. We have talent here. We do. They got to stay on the field. Reviewing the 2019 draft, how do you think Andre Dillard and Sanders will do this season? I think Dillard is going to take a big step up. I do. Having that entire offseason under him, getting the majority of the snaps, I think he's going to have a solid season. More of what we've seen from like we saw from him in college. I think he's developing into being our future left tackle. And for Miles Sanders, like I said, with one of the best offensive lines in the league, I think Sanders is going to explode, have even a better season. I mean, the guy was kind of hurt near the end of the season. He didn't even play really the first third of the season. And look what Miles Sanders was able to do. I mean, he's going to be so productive in the running game, the passing game, a lot of different ways. And he's going to be that we can dump it off to him as our wide receivers burn guys down the field. And Sanders can have a big contribution. I'm telling you. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, does he even get close to wide receiver? I think he will have a chance. I think this is his time to prove himself, and he needs to develop into what we want out of Alshon Jeffrey. We need him to develop. It would save us so much hassle. We could let Jeffrey go, develop JJ, and we could be set going into the future, This is going to be a great season for us. I think so. I think the Eagles are going to have a good year. We saw the opponents. We talked about it last week. I think that Philadelphia Eagles can be a 10-win team, give or take a couple games, For once, the wide receivers do better than the tight ends. Interesting. I think the wide receivers could break out. These guys are going to be asked to do a lot. They're going to be asked to do a lot. Will they live up to that situation? Will they be led by example by guys like Deshaun Jackson, by guys like maybe Marquise Goodwin? I don't know. It's going to be interesting, Why did we pass on John Runyon Jr.? Skull got him. I viewed him as a later pick. I would have liked to see him come to reunite, the father connection and everything, but I don't know. I think there were more important needs maybe at the point in which we were picking. Would you sign Clowney? Quite a controversial player. How would Wentz feel? It would definitely be controversial, and Wentz would obviously be okay with it. He talked about it, said it wasn't a dirty hit just for business, purposes. But, I don't think Jadeveon Clowney would be worth it at this point. I think we have a lot of depth on the defensive line, and I think Jadeveon Clowney is still going to require a good 15, 16, 18 million. I don't think we need to go out and pay that for Jadeveon Clowney. I think we have what we need, and given the personality, given the history, given everything that goes into what has happened during his career, the two big blows to the Eagles quarterback hits, the comments about our fans, I don't think we would welcome him here that easily. At least I wouldn't personally. Just into his younger brother transfers to Maryland. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't see that. I'm definitely going to look that up, Yo, RB, can't wait to get on here and talk to you. You're a great Eagles fan. I'm going to send you a DM so we can chat. I'm watching Eagles games on my DVR, bro. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. I'm definitely going to go back and watch some Eagles stuff as well. It's definitely been hard without sports, guys. Another comment about Tua's little brother going to Maryland. That's actually pretty interesting. I don't know why that's happening, but I'm very interested to hear, what's going on. But we're at an hour 50, guys. I appreciate you guys that have been in here. We still got 11 people in here, 27 likes. If you guys have not hit that like button, just go ahead and smash that like for me. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to be streaming every single Friday. We might even end up streaming more than once a week. And, we got Eagles content, Sixers content. I might talk some Phillies as well. It's just hard, because there's really nothing going on besides like the Bryce Harper interview and stuff. But I'm excited to continue to keep talking sports. You guys have been supporting me, man. We're on the road to 2K. Appreciate all the support for real, guys. And, every single week we're going to be live streaming. We're going to continue this. I think it'll get better though. I think as we go throughout these weeks, these next couple months, hopefully we'll get an update on what the NBA is doing. If the NFL plans to start on time, if baseball is going to come back, I hope it would be, with fans and everything. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, these live streams will pick up a little bit. The videos will pick up a little bit as we go on here. But with all that being said, I appreciate all you guys that have stayed throughout this entire stream, all you guys that continue to support. And it's been another great week. It's going to be a great weekend. And, I will catch you guys next week on the live stream. Be sure to bring your fire takes as always. As for this one, it is Philly Take with RB, and I go by RB. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. All of you guys, be safe, stay healthy, you and your families, and all you guys have a great night, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.